Catherine.
And I'm Mike Cherry, in for Teo Torres. Let's get right to meteorologist Tamara Berg with a look at your cool start to your day.
It's really nice out there for my early risers getting after the start of their day in the 6 o'clock hour. You get outside and it's just a gorgeous morning to maybe go for a little bit of a workout before you have to get through that to-do list of today. It's 59 degrees currently in Sacramento. Sun comes up at 6:40 on this Thursday morning. We may drop back to the mid-50s around the 8 o'clock hour, but beyond that we do start to warm up. 70 degrees by 10 a.m. hitting the upper 80s right around lunchtime. Satellite view showing off just how clear the skies are. If you look across the Sierra, the foothills, and the valley floor, things are nice and clear. It's a beautiful starlit morning until the sun, of course, comes up just about 39 minutes from now. You can clearly see the marine there is back along the coast, and it's pretty thick as it's advancing closer to 2,000 feet on this Thursday morning. In the foothills planner today, expect a comfortable morning in the mid to upper 60s. We'll be in the upper 70s by lunchtime with daytime highs in about the lower to mid 80s range in spots like Sonora, Auburn, and up around Quincy. Coming up in my full forecast, I'll break down what's ahead for you with some warmer days ahead for the weekend. It is 6:01, checking in with Brian to see what's on the highways.
And we're checking out right around Watt Avenue right now on Interstate 80. You can see their traffic moving along through that section there just as you get past the split. We're starting to see a beautiful sunrise out there as we look off to the east. Really no issues to report there. I-5 right now just north of Williams on the southbound side. There's a jackknife big rig in the center divide. Solo vehicle crash there, and it's blocking the #1 lane. So we're seeing a little bit of slowing there in that section. So if you're coming in towards Williams this morning, watch out for that. Northbound I-5 out of Elk Grove, no problems. 99 looking good after they cleared up an earlier collision there. And then as we take a look over towards 50, we've got a crash at Kiefer Boulevard and Watt, and you can see some of the red on the map there right around Watt Avenue on that northbound side as they work to get those cars out of there. They've got a couple extra tow trucks heading into that area. Interstate 80, no issues coming down through the split. If you're coming out of Roseville, down the Cap City Freeway or 80 over the top, looking good. Highway 99 just south of Hammer Lane. There's reports of a large structure fire there, so you can see it from the freeway, but so far not seeing any slowing in that spot. The rest of Stockton looking good on 5 and 99. Your travel times, you can see through the Bay Area, a little slow if you're heading out through the Tracy Triangle, and here in Sacramento, everything looking good. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Brian. New this morning, Rockland Unified School Board members approved a controversial policy change.
Teachers and staff are now required to notify parents if a student wants to change how they are identified. KCRA3's Aaron Heft joining us now in Rockland with the very latest on that overnight decision.
Deirdre, Mike, that decision wasn't even made until close to 1 in the morning, so just a few hours ago. The board ultimately approving of the policy in a 4-1 vote. So let's talk details about what this brings. Parents must now be notified if their child decides to be identified as transgender, non-conforming, or use a different name or different pronouns. The meeting at the district last night drew hundreds of people, both for and against the policy. Ultimately now, under the new policy, parents and guardians are to be notified within 3 school days when their child decides to be identified as a gender other than their biological sex or gender, use a name that differs from their legal name other than commonly recognized nicknames, if a child decides to use pronouns that do not align with the child's biological sex or gender, and lastly, if the child requests access to traditional sex-segregated school programs and activities or bathrooms or changing areas. The policy, as many expected, received a lot of feedback.
It doesn't allow students to come out at their own time, which can be a really traumatic thing for anyone to experience.
What happens if a teacher puts through the notification as they're required, but then the student, claims that that wasn't the case, right? What happens if a student doesn't have a safe home life, or parents that are supportive of that?
This policy was looked at to include parents. We believe that the relationship between parents, students, and staff should be open.
Now that notification can be delayed up to 48 hours, but under very special circumstances. Those circumstances if there is credible evidence that notification could result in, quote, substantial jeopardy to that child's safety. In Rockland, Aaron Heft, KCRA 3 News.
Aaron, thank you. The board did release a statement this morning. It says in part, the board's action to strengthen parent notification and communication reinforces our commitment to include parents in school activities and decisions related to their child. We will continue to follow follow all laws protecting student privacy. Now, the policy is similar to one that passed in a Southern California district that had been approved earlier, and that one required parents to be notified if their kids changed their gender identification at school. The California Attorney General's office did sue Chino Valley Unified School District over that policy. And as of yesterday, that policy is now on hold as the lawsuit gets discussed in court. Attorney General Rob Bonta did release a statement. It says, in part, while this fight is far from over, the ruling takes a significant step toward ensuring the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of transgender and gender non-conforming students.
New this morning, take a look at this video right here. Sacramento fire crews quickly working on a fire that broke out in an office building in Midtown. This started around 1 a.m. on 19th and K Streets. Flames turned out to be the extent of the fire, but crews had to force their way into the building to make sure nothing had spread inside. No word yet on the cause, but it did not appear to damage the building. Now to our California wildfire coverage, and all evacuation orders have been lifted in Lake County after a fire broke out in Lower Lake. Take a look here. This is the fire earlier yesterday afternoon. Firefighters used helicopters and water drops to get control of it. It's burned about 28 acres and it's about 50% contained. Crews say that it's holding at retardant lines, but they are continuing to watch for hot spots. And new this morning, the city of Manteca has approved spending more than $1 million a year to deal with the homeless crisis. At last night's city council meeting, the council approved paying His Way Recovery House to run a homeless emergency city on Industrial Park Drive. They'll also be paying Shield Protection Group to provide round-the-clock security for the center starting September 15th. City leaders believe the cost of running that shelter will offset the burden of police and fire departments to deal with so many homeless issues, freeing them up for other calls.
Well, police in Turlock say that a chance encounter led to the arrest of at least 3 suspects. The officers were following up on a call near Francel Lane and Main Street when they spotted 3 people wanted by authorities. They say the group tried to run. They were caught. So far, 3 people are under arrest for crimes ranging from rape to auto theft to parole violation. A stolen car was also found at the scene. The suspects' names at this point have not been released. San Joaquin County deputies have now arrested 3 people for robbing some taco trucks. Police say that Rita Trevino, Julian Holguin, and a 17-year-old boy robbed a taco truck in the Thornton area Monday afternoon. Another taco truck near Flag City a short time later. Highway patrol officers spotted the suspect's vehicle and then detained all 3. In addition to the 2 robberies, the 17-year-old suspect had an ankle monitor linking him to a 3rd robbery earlier that day.
The city of Sacramento is filing suit against Walgreens. The city says back in 2020, officials found 2 55-gallon drums in the parking lot of a former Walgreens on Norwood Avenue. Those drums were leaking hazardous material in a storm drain, which flowed directly into the city's storm drainage system. The city then hired a contractor to clean up that spill. The lawsuit says Walgreens should pay for compensatory damage and civil penalties for the city's cleanup cost and city code violations. Walgreens tells KCRA they have no comment on the lawsuit.
Efforts underway to replace a train trestle in Yuba County. Once again, a semi-truck has hit it and then got stuck under it. It happened on Highway 70 near 18th Street in Marysville. The stuck big rig did cause the highway to close in both directions. Some pictures now of that accident. Caltrans says that there are 2 to 3 crashes at this location every year, and that's why they're now working on a plan to try to replace this trestle. Wow, look at that. Signs from one side show the clearance is 14 feet 1 inch, but from the other side, it's 13 feet 10 inches. In comparison, Caltrans says that the standard clearance is supposed to be about 15 feet.
So we're replacing that, and those will be having 2 lanes in each direction, and so it'll be wider and a modern structure that also meet the vertical clearance, so trucks can pass under without crashing into the railroad trestle.
Caltrans says because a major freight line does use the railroad, the train trestle is going to stay in place while the new one is built. They're also planning to replace the trestle at Binney Junction as well. I mean, that's kind of math everybody can understand right there.
Yeah, it's like when you try to jam in like one of those round blocks into like the square, and you're like, what?
Good comparison.
Yeah.
So the funding deadline to keep the government running is now just a couple of weeks away, and there is growing disagreement with lawmakers on the issue of Ukrainian aid, and it is delaying a compromise.
Yeah, let's get to Melanie Wingo now with more on what's holding them back.
Well, debate among Republican lawmakers is stopping more aid from heading to Ukraine. all while the country fights back, reclaiming Russian-held territory. Secretary of State Antony Blinken making an unexpected visit to Ukraine, announcing another $1 billion in aid from the Biden administration, while Senate Republicans say they're on board with more funding to support Ukraine. A group of conservative Republicans in the House is refusing to send and spend more money, arguing that money spent so far has produced little progress and the war's objective is unclear.
I've asked for a mission statement to say, what are you going to do? And so, people get cute and say, well, help Ukraine. We need to actually, what are you trying to accomplish?
Meanwhile, President Biden is asking Congress for $21 billion to fund the Ukraine war through the end of the year. Mike and Deirdre.
All right, thank you. New this morning, Mexico's Supreme Court has struck down a federal law criminalizing abortion. That ruling reaffirmed an earlier decision that criminal penalties for abortion are unconstitutional, allowing the federal health care system to provide the service. Mexico's highest court declared that criminal penalties for abortion were unconstitutional in 2021, but the ruling only applied to one state. This new ruling will increase abortion access throughout Mexico, marking a major victory for abortion rights advocates in that predominantly Roman Catholic country. In the U.S., bans on abortion passed after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and they're leading to widespread travel for people to get care. A new study has found a significant increase in abortions in states that bordered those who have now banned the procedure. New Mexico and Wyoming had the largest increase. Those two states saw more than 3 times the number of procedures in the first half of the year compared to 2020, and both states share borders with 3 or more states that have passed bans or restrictions on abortion. Meanwhile, Mexico could make history in its next presidential election.
The country's 2 biggest political coalitions have nominated women for president. This means the country will most likely elect its first female president. Claudia Sheinbaum is the former mayor of Mexico City and close ally of Mexico's current president. She won the ruling party's nomination this evening. Sheinbaum will face Senator Xochitl Galvez. Galvez will represent a broad opposition coalition. Mexican voters will elect a new president in June. The winner will serve a 6-year term.